This is the new Nokia 7 Plus.
Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg was not forthcoming in addressing this crisis when it was made known, as it took 5 days after a global campaign called #DeleteFacebook gained momentum.
So this was a major breach of trust, and I'm really sorry that this happened.
So how did we get here, and how does Facebook recover? Well, first of all, let's figure out what happened. So on March 16th, 2018, the New York Times and The Guardian reported that a data mining firm named Cambridge Analytica, which had worked on Donald Trump's presidential campaign, had improperly obtained access to more than 50 million user profiles. Experts believe the firm could have used that data to gain an unfair advantage in targeting voters. Mark Zuckerberg didn't say anything about these stories for 5 days, and then on Wednesday, the 21st of March, he wrote a Facebook post and gave an interview to a US network.
We may not have all of the data in our system today, so anyone whose data might have been affected by this, we're gonna make sure that we tell. And going forward, when we identify apps that are similarly doing sketchy things, we're gonna make sure that we tell people then too.
This scandal is extremely weird because we've known the basic details that Cambridge Analytica got access to these profiles for more than 2 years. Despite all that, this is the biggest public relation crisis Facebook has faced since the aftermath of the 2016 US presidential election. This, as you know, led Zuckerberg to testify in the US Capitol for 2 days, facing very tough questions from them. At a certain point, he proved that the very same thing he's asking from his users is the very same thing he do not want to do.
Would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
Now, in order to understand the real story behind this scandal, you need to go back to 2014. Yes, 2014. This has been happening since then, right under our very noses. In 2014, a researcher from the University of Cambridge named Alexander Kogan created an app called This Is Your Digital Life. About 270,000 people downloaded it, gave away their information, and Kogan, unbeknownst to them, passed along that information to a data mining and political strategy firm named Cambridge Analytica. At the time, Facebook's Platform Application Programming Interface, or API, let developers like Kogan access information about your friends as well as yourself. Christopher Wiley, who used to work at Cambridge Analytica, told the New York Times and The Guardian that that was how his company was able to get access to information of many as 87 million people. And the idea was that by gleaning your Facebook likes, the company could begin to understand your personality and then more effectively target political advertising at you. This kind of thing is known as psychographic profiling. Experts say that it can be useful at the margins in persuading voters, but at the very same time they say its effect can be easily overstated. Now, Donald Trump's campaign wasn't the first to gain information about potential supporters using Facebook. In fact, in 2012, former President Obama's election team had created an app and done a very similar thing. But there's a big difference. President Obama's team told voters what it was doing. Cambridge Analytica obtained this information in total violation of Facebook's rules and didn't tell anybody who was taking Kogan's personality quiz that their data would eventually be used for political advertising targeting. The Guardian revealed the scheme back in 2015. Soon after that report, Facebook went to Kogan and Cambridge Analytica and demanded that they delete all this data they have obtained in violation of Facebook's rules. But the reports say that in reality, Cambridge Analytica and Kogan never deleted the data, and Facebook never investigated to see whether they had deleted the data as promised. Facebook made it too easy for developers like Kogan to get access to their data, to their friends' data, and to share it. And it never informed people that their data has been improperly used, well, until now, after this whole thing was uncovered. In the aftermath of the 2016 US presidential election, we saw how obviously fake stories could spread faster and more persuasively than many true ones. We don't have to look far. We all know what happened in the recent Candy unrest. Even our Prime Minister revealed recently that Cambridge Analytica did approach him during the 2015 presidential election.
I must say Cambridge Analytica came and canvassed me also to get work from the UNP. Fortunately, we did not use the services of Cambridge Analytica, but they have an office here.
Now, as Sri Lankans, what is our authority is doing to ensure that these issues do not, or at least try to avoid them coming to our shores?
We even have a local law that was made into law in 2007 or 2008. It's called the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights law, and according to that law, actions that could cause enmity and hatred among communities, ethnic groups and so on is illegal, punishable by imprisonment for up to 10 years. I think again we need to think of decentralizing the solutions, decentralizing the responses, and I think the ICTA agency that I serve as chair has done some very interesting work in collaboration with a large number of organizations to create awareness of how to behave properly, how to respond properly to problems online, on social media and so on, at the school level through ICT societies, and then to bring it up to the education zones, and then in the ultimate, if problems cannot be resolved, to escalate it up to the Sri Lanka CERT.